Hello and good afternoon. I am Laura Devitt, Director of Programs at the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. The next session is entitled Art Therapy, and our faculty member is Joan Hawkins. Getting a diagnosis like pulmonary fibrosis can be overwhelming for everyone. How do you manage the transition of this life event? According to Joan, you do it with confidence and by using your energy wisely. Joan was a busy customer service representative with a commercial airline when she decided to make a career change. After earning a master's degree in art therapy, she used her new skills to help children learn how to express their feelings and develop self-confidence and resiliency. Her own resiliency would be tested when her brother was diagnosed with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. She supported him in his quest to receive a lung transplant, but the miracle they hoped for didn't materialize. When Joan began to experience breathlessness herself, the diagnosis of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis was difficult to believe. After a period of denial, Joan fell into a long grief cycle. She turned to art to help her express herself and build emotional strength. As a PFF ambassador, Joan shares her experience and her skills to help other patients and caregivers learn how to cope with this disease. With that, I will hand it over to Joan.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the art therapy session. To my knowledge, this is probably the first one that we've had since I've been a volunteer ambassador for the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. I hope that you will find today not only interesting, but even transformative. Art therapy has been used for many, many years as an adjunct to therapy for mental health. It started probably over in England back during the Reformation. However, in this country, it is more recently brought to the front back in 1960s. Two women actually made it far more prominent in treatment. One lady was Edith Kramer, another one was Margaret Naumburg. They each had the same goal in mind. However, they went about it very differently. One of the ladies, both of whom were well respected internationally, saw it as a way to sublimate excess energy. It worked well with patients with anxiety, depression, as well as other mental health disorders like schizophrenia and bipolar. She thought that by either individually or with groups, that we could take that energy that patients have and channel it into something that would open people's eyes to a different perspective and use that creative energy to help build self-esteem, self-confidence. Ms. Naumburg saw it as a means of communication. She felt that by doing art in a session, either directed or non-directed, that a patient could get some insight into their unconscious to help resolve personal issues. Either way, it works. And I'm hoping that I can do a little exercise with you at the end of this session that will help you transform some of your energy that may be negative right now and turn it into something positive. Let your creative side show. I think you'll enjoy it. First of all, what I'd like to do is do a Kundalini type of meditation. Kundalini is a form of yoga. We're going to do a body relaxation. We're going to start at the top of your head and work down to your toes and try and push out any negative energy that you may have stored up in your body right now. Then we're going to segue right on into a form of guided imagery. This is something that you can do at home any time of the day, any time of the evening. There are a plethora of videos on YouTube and just within websites on the computer that you can do this same exercise, taking anywhere from 10 minutes to over an hour. It's your choice. If you're feeling tense, if you're feeling angry, depressed, I would recommend that you work this kind of meditation into your daily routine. They're free. You just open your search engine, go to meditations, and choices galore will pop up for you. Once we get through with today, I think you'll want to find one of those websites. Then after that, we've got you all relaxed. We've taken your mind to some place that's really special to you. We're going to do a little quick exercise. So grab yourself a piece of paper. It doesn't matter how big it is. And hopefully you've got some colored pencils or markers or crayons, anything that you can color in with. So let's get started on the relaxation. Sit yourself in a comfortable chair. Put your feet flat on the ground. We want to be grounded during this. Your arms, hands can sit in your lap. Just kind of wiggle on down into that chair. Make sure you're real comfortable. Okay. I've asked this question of other people, and I don't get much of a response. Maybe where I live was just a little kooky. However, imagine somebody takes a raw egg and taps it on the top of your head. And all of a sudden, you can feel that egg oozing out along your scalp. Right now, I want you to relax that scalp. Just lower your eyebrows. Relax your forehead. Relax your scalp. You're going to let all of that nervous energy flow down and out of your head. Relax your ears, your earlobes. Relax your eyebrows, your eyes. You can keep them closed. Let your imagination flow. We want to push all the negative energy, all that worrisome stuff out of your head. Relax your nose and your jaw with your lips closed. Let your tongue float in your mouth. Drop your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Make sure you have enough room in your chair. Find some way to place your arms and your hands so that you can drop your shoulders. Push all negative energy away from your head. Let it pass through those shoulders. Move your neck around. Turn your head one way. Turn your head another. Pushing it down. Pushing it down. Let it go into your chest area. your upper arms, your shoulder blades. Keep pushing it down. Be sure the upper areas are now relaxed. Push it down through your chest and your back, down to your elbows. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep your shoulders down. Take good breaths. Deep breath with your diaphragm. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Continue to push everything down. Down to your stomach and your waist, down to your elbows and your forearms. Just keep pushing it away. At this point, let's do a recheck. Did we leave anything behind from the waist up? Any tension spots? Lower your shoulders again. Relax your jaw. Those places that we don't even think about tensing, but we do. Let that energy flow on out your forearms to your wrist, to your fingers. Feel it linger. Feel it leaving your fingertips as it leaves your body relaxed. Push it on down through your pelvis, your stomach, your buttocks. Remember to breathe. Push it into your upper thighs. Keep pushing it down and out. Down through your thighs to your knees. Keep pushing it away. Drop your shoulders. Relax. Push it down through your calves, through your ankles, into your feet. Out your toes. You are grounded to Mother Earth. Let her take this away from you. Remember to breathe. Relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Continue to feel all the parts of your body. If there's any tension left, go to that spot. Push it toward an exit. Out your fingertips, out your toes. Now that you're relaxed, take yourself to your very most precious sanctuary. It can be outside or inside. You're walking there. Feel the air. Is it soft? Is it cold or hot? You're still relaxed. What are the smells? What do you see? Is there a comfortable place for you to sit? Lie down. Curl up in a chair. In a distance, you see a huge white light and it's coming toward you, but you're not afraid. The white light has just enough warmth to make you feel safe, comforted. It comes toward you, and as it gets there, it wraps itself around you like a hug. Let yourself relax in that hug. Let yourself receive it. That hug is from the universe and all of us in it, to let you know that you are loved and you are supported. There's a lot of positive energy there for you. Praying, remembering, loving you. Stay in that hug as long as you want to. And when you're ready to come back, you can open your eyes. How do you feel now? I hope that you feel very relaxed, that your deep breath comes in easily and flows out easily. Now, what I think I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, is take that piece of paper we talked about, put it down on a desk or something in front of you. Give you a minute to make that happen. If you don't have colored pencils, don't worry about it. Use the one you have. Use the marker you have. Whatever works for you. Okay. Take that marker and position it on the paper. Find a start point. Now, hold the paper down with your other hand and begin to make scribbles. Just scribbles. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, but I'm not an artist. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make something, a picture or a painting, or you don't have to be an artist. You're a creator. You've created possibly children, a home, found solutions on the job. You're a very empowered, intelligent, caring person who's loved by so many people. When you think you have filled that page, you can stop scribbling and take a look at it. Turn it quarter turns. See if you can find an image in there, anything at all. Because what we're going to do is we're going to treat it like a stained glass. And you're going to take your markers or your pencil, pen, and you're going to fill in the stained glass so that the image comes through to us. Some people even put it on the floor and turn it to see the image. Find one and spend the next 10 to 15 minutes coloring in your stained glass. Now, since we're virtual, this does present a bit of a problem for a group this size. When I have done this exercise with small support groups within the different states, we've actually had people hold their drawing up to their monitor so that we can see it, and then we'll talk about it. I guess we'll have to skip that step here. There's a little too many for that. But continue doing your drawing. Put as many details into it as you want. And here's a little secret. If you don't see an image that really pops to you, just color in the squares. Just do whatever you need to do. It'll be okay. After all, this isn't a test. This is just scribble time, like we used to do when we were like 4 years old. But now with a little bit more meaning. So let me check my clock. We've got plenty of time. While you're drawing and coloring, I'll just keep a little running monologue going here. Getting back to art therapy and its history. Did you know that during the Reformation, that society would have their tea in the afternoon at mental health asylums in England? They would come to watch the crazy people do their art. Some of it did it on the walls. Some of it probably on canvas. You may have noticed in my picture that I have included a piece of artwork of my own. When I was first diagnosed, I was very angry, very angry. I stayed angry for a long time. And then, of course, I went through the usual steps of grief. Denial. I can't really be this sick. This doesn't happen to me. Let's see, how old was I then? Probably about 68. I wasn't ready to be ill. I had retired early from my previous career so that I could get my education and move into art therapy. And now here I was, stalled. At, for me, what was a very young age. I still had plenty of energy and places I wanted to go and things I wanted to do. I certainly didn't want to be stopped by this. And then the bargaining. Well, maybe if I do everything right, it'll go away. It's hypersensitivity pneumonitis. If I get away from whatever it was that started all this, if I get away from that allergen, maybe I'll be okay. No, it doesn't work that way, as we all found out. So I vacillated between depressed and angry, depressed and angry, depressed and angry. And now I think by volunteering through PFF, I found a way to take that energy and do something positive with it. I hope so, anyway. While you continue to color, I'll go a step further. When I got my master's in art therapy, it also qualified me to take an exam for a licensed professional counselor. So I've been doing therapy probably for about 15 years until I had to stop. I would strongly suggest that those of you that are having difficulty with anxiety and depression or any other mental health issue, that you seek counseling. Find a therapist. Usually your pulmonologist will have a social worker associated with their office. Have them recommend someone to you. Go see a therapist. Talk about it. Discuss with them how it's affecting you in other ways besides physically. If they can't recommend someone, then start calling around. Call your hospice. Ask for grief counseling. Or if they know of someone who does that kind of counseling with people with incurable diseases. Don't suffer this by yourself. Your family and friends want to help you. They want to support you. The biggest loss I think I felt was energy. I couldn't do the things that I used to do so easily. I think that's what made me the angriest. It kept me isolated. All right, so we can't do what we used to do. This isn't what we signed up for. This isn't how we meant to spend our retirement. Figure out what your energy is and decide how you want to use the rest of it. Perhaps a legacy for your grandchildren. Perhaps write a book. There are any number of things that you can do that are of interest to you. But use that energy. Don't let it go to waste. How are your drawings coming? Have you about colored them in? I'd like you to look at what you've done. Think about what that image represents to you. I'll tell you a quick story. I did a grief session with widows and widowers. And we did this exact exercise. And one lady just scribbled up a funnel like a tornado. The vortex being probably in the middle of the paper somewhere. But I mean, she scribbled hard. And in that vortex, she put a little face, teeny little face. When she shared it with the group, which under those circumstances, we would do the same if we were not virtual. And I said, I imagine you're feeling a little overwhelmed. And she said, exactly. She said, I know he's been gone for 3 years, but I'm still feeling overwhelmed. Okay. I see that you put 2 eyes and a nose on the face, but where's the mouth? And she said, I forgot to put it on there. And several people in the group piped up and said, that's because she never talks. Wow. She's kept it all bottled up, and she's got no one with whom she can speak. So the group encouraged her. It was a one-time thing with them. I didn't see them again. But I hope that she did start talking, because that's the only way she's going to get out of the vortex. Therapy will do that for you. It'll give you someone who's not family, who's not a close friend, to talk to, so you can get it out. And then you can in turn decide if you want to share it with friends and family. So take a look at your image. Look at it now with a new purpose. What does it look like? Does it look like an emotion? Does it look like perhaps your sanctuary? Does it look like a person, a place, thing? Maybe it looks like your disease. I started to say a minute ago, the picture you see of me standing next to my artwork, those are my lungs. That's when I first got diagnosed, and I was angry. I'd seen the x-rays. A friend of mine said, okay, now you have to do the flip side. Now you have to do the I am healing emotion. I am blessed. And I did that, but quite honestly, I didn't feel it was authentic. Number one, someone else suggested it. Number two, I wasn't in that space right then. Perhaps now that I have reached acceptance and found a way to use what energy I have, perhaps now I can do. And I am blessed. I am healing. And I am loved. So look at your piece and see where you are. Figure it out. Art therapy is not rocket science. There's no secret code. Just look at it and see what it reminds you of, what it means to you. What space are you in right now? If nothing comes to you right away, tape it up on a wall somewhere and look at it. See if there isn't something in your day that reminds you of that image. I really, really find it frustrating that I cannot reach out and talk to each of you, that I cannot look at your artwork. I hope that next year we'll be able to come together and share some of this personally. But I am delighted to have this opportunity to at least introduce you to art therapy and show you that it's not a challenging you have to be an artist kind of thing. It's something you can do at home. Look at your doodles. See what they represent. For years and years, I drew arrows going in all different directions, like sun rays. Lots and lots and lots of arrows in all different directions. You think maybe that was my disorganized energy spreading itself too thin all over the place? Maybe. Or maybe it was positive energy that I kept pushing out into the world trying to make an impact. A positive one, of course. What is your image telling you? I would very much like to hear from you. If you reread my bio, my email address is there. If you have any questions, you should be able to use the chat screen now. But if not, email me. Take a picture of your picture. Attach it. Send it to me. I'd love to see your work. I want to thank you all for joining me today. I'm with you in heart. I'm with you in spirit. There are new things on the horizon, I feel sure. If you have not gone to the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation website yet, please do. It's informative and offers opportunities for you to take part in all of the action that's going on, virtually as well as physically in your own town. I've enjoyed being an ambassador. It's put me in touch with lots and lots of people across the United States. People in all different places with this disease. Some awaiting lung transplant, some already having it. There's also a PF Warriors group on Facebook. If you don't know about it, I would tap into it. It's a great support group. Talk to your own pulmonologist. Ask if there's a support group in that office. Perhaps their program manager or office manager is already facilitating one. If not, see if you can start one. I felt very isolated at the beginning of my diagnosis. Now I don't. There are lots of us out there. There's no need to feel alone. Come and join us. There's some great people. Great people with IPF. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Goodbye.
All right, thank you, Joan, for leading us through those wonderful techniques this afternoon. We'll now move into the Q&A portion, and we have had a number of questions come in already. So we'll go ahead and start. The first question that came in is, was there an aha moment that helped you connect your professional life as an art therapist to your disease journey?
No, I don't think there was an aha moment. I think that I realized that that was one of the ways that I could work things out. But I was so angry and so depressed, and I really wasn't processing in that way until finally one day I thought, this is ridiculous. Sit down and put your anger on some canvas. Get some paint out. It can be abstract. It can be anything you want it to be, but you need to express something. And that was very early in the diagnosis, quite frankly. I can't say that I've done too much with it throughout my illness to this point, other than working with other people in the different support groups the way I have. I do other things that are creative. I do make art because I enjoy it, but I also do other sort of creative things like knitting and cooking and whatever. So don't think that no aha, just went into it, did it, and then proceeded forward.
Okay. And then the next question is about your experience as an art therapist. It's, can you tell us more about art therapy and your experience as an art therapist?
Oh, sure. I'd love to do that. More about art therapy. Art therapy, as I mentioned at the beginning of my session there, was actually probably created in England during the Reformation. By the time it got to this country, it was in the early 1900s, but it really didn't get started as a real paradigm of its own until the 60s. And there were 2 or 3 people, women, who really put it on the front page. And it was used in 2 different ways, basically. Was number one was to sort of take wild and impulsive energy and try to harness it into a project that involved 1 or more people. And they were probably given a theme. For example, you might take a group of urban teenagers and see if you can't do some murals around the neighborhood. Or drama is also an art therapy. You can have them write a play. There's just any kind of things that you can do that way that helps sublimate negative energy and turn it into something positive, where children feel good about themselves. Then there's the other side of it, which is more expressive of emotion, where you might direct children to draw me a picture of your family, draw me a picture of your house, draw me a picture of you having the most wonderful day that you can remember. What were you doing? What are your hobbies? Draw about your hobbies. The thing about it is that even when I was in graduate school, people kept saying, and I did it too, what's the formula for this? If I want to find this out, what do I tell them to do? Well, you don't. It's not like that. Their energy is guiding you as the therapist. If you give them a direction and you say, okay, draw a picture of your family. Okay, then they're gonna draw everybody in the family, the dog, the turtle, everybody. And then it's up to you to look at it and see what it says. And if you don't know what it says, then you ask the child, because it's all subconscious emotion. They don't deliberately put themselves off into a corner. They don't deliberately forget to draw the windows in the house. But you look at those things and you say, okay, Jaw feels isolated. Family doesn't want anyone looking in on its secrets. You just, like I say, there's no magic formula. It's just something that you look at and sort of interpret with the child. Does that answer the question, you think? Good.
Yes, I think so. Another question is, what would your advice be to someone looking to implement a few of these practices into their daily life?
Oh, you know what? Just plenty of paper and plenty of crayons or colored pencils or markers. Or I just come across another field of creativity that I love, and you can go on Pinterest and look at some different versions of it. Spirit dolls. Take scraps of fabric or twigs or beads or whatever you want, and you make these little dolls, but they're from your spirit. They're decorated in a way that they're not voodoo dolls, nothing like that. These are positive spirit dolls, and the creativity on them is phenomenal. So you can do 2D or 3D, it really doesn't matter. If you want to knit something that create a pattern and knit something that you feel is representative of how you're feeling or what you're feeling. There's a lot of different things that you can do. If you want to, as a matter of fact, while I'm thinking, go on the internet and look up within your state the Art Therapy Association. Every state has an Art Therapy Association. And look it up. It's usually started with the state's letter, like Michigan is probably MATA. And you can gather a great deal of information that way. There are also some books that you can look at in Kindle or whoever, and see if there's something in there that'll show you how to suggest some projects that you would find interesting to do.
Great. I think that's wonderful practical advice that people can really take from this session. I believe we've gotten to all the questions that have been submitted so far. We did receive several notes of people just thanking you for your time and sharing your craft with everyone in attendance today. And just people wondering if you practice this with your family and if they find themselves to be as relaxed as some of the audience members felt today. So it sounds like it was a very successful initiation into art therapy for some of our attendees
good.
today. And I'm so grateful to you for sharing your craft and your experience with us. I do hope everyone who attended today enjoyed this session. And I hope, yes, and I hope folks will continue coming to the remainder of the schedule during the rest of the week. We have a lot of informative, educational, and even some fun sessions on the agenda for the rest of the week. So while we end today's session just a few minutes early, please feel free to stick around during the rest of the week, and we look forward to interacting with you. Thanks so much, Joan.
Laura, question before you go. I have several questions in my own little chat bar. Can I just go ahead? May I just go ahead and answer those? Not on this, I can just answer them in here and they'll get the response. We don't have to stay online to do that.
Sure, that's no problem. Okay. Sorry, I didn't have access to those.
That's okay. That's okay. I've been kind of looking at them and figuring out how I'm going to work it in. But anyway, I'll answer them now. So thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye-bye.